Libya, a nation once ruled by a single man for decades. But after Muammar Gaddafi's fall in 2011, the country did not find peace, it found chaos. What followed was not just a civil war, but a multi-factional power struggle that turned Libya into a battlefield for militias, warlords, and foreign powers. This is the untold story of the Libyan Civil War, how a country rich in oil and history became a fragmented war zone, and why peace remains elusive even today. October 2011, Muammar Gaddafi is dead. The NATO-backed uprising that began in February 2011 has succeeded. But victory brings a new challenge. Libya has no functioning government, no stable institutions, and is now awash with weapons. The National Transitional Council (NTC) takes over, promising democracy. But Libya is deeply divided. Tribes, militias, and Islamist groups all compete for power. The interim government is weak, unable to disarm former rebel fighters. In 2012, Libya holds its first elections. The General National Congress (GNC) is formed. But instead of unity, militias, many formed during the revolution, begin carving out territories, each pursuing its own agenda. By 2014, Libya descends into civil war. The trigger, a military general, Khalifa Haftar. Once a close ally of Gaddafi, Haftar had been living in exile in the US before returning to Libya, determined to seize power. Two rival factions emerge. In the east, Haftar's Libyan National Army (LNA), backed by Egypt and the UAE, launches Operation Dignity to cleanse Libya of Islamists and armed militias. In the west, the Libya Dawn Coalition, an Islamist-led faction, seizes Tripoli, forming a rival government. By mid-2014, Libya has two governments, two parliaments, and dozens of militias. The internationally recognized government flees to Tobruk in the east, while Libya Dawn controls Tripoli in the west. The country is now fully at war. Amid the chaos, a new player emerges: ISIS. Taking advantage of Libya's lawlessness, the terrorist group seizes Sirte, Gaddafi's hometown, in 2015. The world takes notice. In 2016, the U.S., alongside local Libyan militias, launches airstrikes to drive ISIS out of Sirte. After months of fighting, the terror group is defeated, but Libya remains fractured. By 2017, Haftar strengthens his grip on eastern Libya. With support from Egypt, the UAE, and later Russia, his Libyan National Army (LNA) gains territory, aiming to take control of the entire country. In 2019, Haftar launches a full-scale offensive to capture Tripoli, the capital. But he faces resistance from the Government of National Accord (GNA), backed by Turkey and Qatar. Turkey intervenes, deploying drones and Syrian mercenaries to defend the GNA. The result: Haftar's offensive collapses in mid-2020, forcing a new ceasefire. Libya's war is no longer just Libyan, it is a battlefield for global powers. Russia's Wagner Group, Turkey's military, the UAE's Air Force, and Western interests all have a stake in the conflict. Turkey backs the Tripoli-based government. Russia and the UAE support Haftar. The US and Europe remain divided. Libya has become a proxy war where foreign powers fight for influence over its oil-rich land. By late 2020, a UN-brokered ceasefire halts major fighting. In 2021, a unity government is formed, aiming to hold elections. But divisions remain. Elections, set for 2021, fail to happen. Libya remains divided between Prime Minister Abdul Hamid Dbeibah in Tripoli and Haftar's forces in the east. The war may have paused, but peace is still out of reach. The Libyan Civil War is not over. It is a war that never truly ended. With militias still controlling much of the country and foreign powers holding influence, Libya's future remains uncertain. What will happen next? Will Libya finally see peace, or will it remain a fractured battleground? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: Libya's struggle is far from over. History is not just about wars and battles. It's about people. It's about understanding the past to build a better future. And that is why we study history.